I'm Mike.
And I'm Adam.
And this is Stuff and Waffle. Two friends talking about stuff, and often as not, waffling with frequent reference to Bond cars. We were talking recently about automotive destinations.
Yep.
Museums and the like.
Yes, more often than not, yeah.
More often than not. And we were talking about what they did and did not contain. And I recalled that when we got to the Haynes Museum in Somerset, you were saying that one of your all-time favorite cars, the Jaguar XJ220, has never been there when you visited. And yet every time I've been there, it has been there.
Yes. My luck of the draw on that one's not brilliant.
Not done well with that one, no. But it got me to thinking, how about a museum that always contains exactly what we want and reflects our particular tastes, if you like?
Okay, so what you're suggesting here is that we need to form our own museum and curate it ourselves rather than
exactly.
It doesn't exist. You've not just Googled and found this place that magically exists already.
No, sadly not. I fear we're not buying any plane tickets for this one. No, I fear it doesn't exist. But I thought it might be kind of fun to build an imaginary, the Stuff and Waffle Museum of Automotive Goodness or something like that.
Yeah, I think there's enough waffle in that title as well, so that's good.
Well, it fits, doesn't it? Absolutely. Yeah. Well, you can't have something sharp and snappy with us, can you? It's got to go on and on and on. So I think you're going to need to continue the sign on the next building. I think that's where we are. So I'm imagining. Let me paint the scene for you.
Please do.
I'm imagining a converted dockside warehouse, one of those buildings, red brick building, big doors, lots of windows, not a particularly big footprint, but very tall, lots of floors.
Yes, I think as long as it's roomy, we're all right.
Open plan inside, quite minimalist, quite modern on the inside as a sort of counterpoint to its old exterior. And 5 or 6 floors, and we just we fill it with all our treats.
Wow. Let's do that.
Let's do that then. Yes. Now we're gonna probably take half or so each, I would suggest, and there's bound to be some overlap here and there. I've divided mine into, I don't know, sections, rooms, floors. I don't know, however we would organize it.
I know what you mean. I've gone for sections rather than designating rooms or anything.
Yes.
I mean, we can be quite fluid with that.
I've got some. They're all fairly evenly balanced. They've got more or less the same number of vehicles in each section, which wasn't a deliberate effort. It's just how it's worked out.
Yeah, I'm quite similar actually. Yeah. Okay. So, go on then.
I've given each section a title.
Is it its official title or just a reference point for you?
No, I think I'm going to say these are, these names are going on the signs. So,
right, okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with these. So we might do a bit of moving around here and there because some of the cars could exist in more than one section.
Okay.
But I've categorized them as I initially thought. So I've got 4 sections to kick us off. Okay. Now shall I give the names of the sections and then we'll dig deeper into those?
So, that seems fair.
So I've got 4 sections. The first one is simply called Style.
Oh.
Second one is called Muscle.
Third
is Iconic.
Right.
And the fourth one is, my dad had one of them.
That's good.
Not to say that he did. In fact, he didn't have any of these, but
they're all strong contenders for that particular phrase.
They're all strong contenders for that phrase. I'm not referring to my father specifically. No.
Okay, that's all right then. That's fine. I haven't been quite while I've sectioned everything off, I've not named it beautifully. They're merely reference points at the moment.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we can work on.
And they're perhaps a little bit more specific, I'd say.
Okay, yeah, mine are fairly broad. Yeah.
Okay, so go on then. Kick us off with your first section. Was it style?
Right. Style. We're going to start with style.
Okay.
And I'm going to get it out the way up front here.
Right.
The most obvious choice, perhaps for me, front and center, there will be a DeLorean.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if there's one thing it's got in spades, it's style.
It's perfect to sit in a museum.
Yes.
There's no disappointment when it does that.
No, there isn't. And when it's locked away on the 3rd floor, there's no chance of taking it for a drive.
No, it's good.
So I think that's appropriate. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I didn't even bother putting it on any of my lists, because I thought, well, you're going to pick that, so
I'm going to have that covered. There it'll be, right in the front, gleaming bare metal, doors aloft. Yeah, it's going to, you know where you are with the style section as soon as you see that first car.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Happy with that.
Happy with that one. Now, as you meander your way, reading those little cards that they put up, little bits of information, we have to prepare all that as well.
Hours of fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You wear your Google out doing that. Next choice again is one you probably won't be surprised at, and I think you'll agree. Aston Martin DB7.
Yeah, it's something that we both covet.
Absolutely.
And I don't think it's limited to just you and I. So
no, absolutely. I was going to say it is a little bit more obtainable, that one, because they are a little bit cheaper. But I don't want, and I should have said up front, I don't want price or availability to feature in this. We should just have what we want.
That's right, because we said we don't necessarily have to own these cars.
Not at all. No. Well, and many museums don't own the cars that are in them. That's not unusual. But even if it's complete unobtainium and there's only one left in the world and it costs £10 million, if you want it in your museum, you pop it in there. There shouldn't be
phone calls.
Well, we soon get it in. Absolutely, there'll be all sorts of things wheeling up. Yeah. So yeah, we shouldn't worry about whether something is, how realistic or not it is. If we think it should go in, it should go in. So yeah, we've got an Aston Martin DB7. Now the next choice is a little bit more unusual. A BMW i8.
It's striking in terms of style. I'll give you that.
It is very striking in terms of style, and that's what this section is about.
Yeah, it's not classically beautiful, but it's very striking.
Yes, exactly. It's a little bit different. Could equally, arguably, go in the iconic section, but I've kept it in style. I think
you're right. I don't think it's iconic enough.
No, I don't think it is. I think there are other cars that belong there. But yeah, BMW i8 is very, as you say, it's striking. It was unusual. A kind of a one-off. They've not done anything to follow it up.
No, it's not been revisited, has it?
No, not at all. But certainly very stylish, which is what this
good choice.
We've got a BMW i8 in there, preferably in that classic electric blue color that they did.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah,
I think so.
I like that.
Quite like the i8. Next choice, I'm going for something very different in every way. A Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow.
Yeah, it's just classic, isn't it? Classic design.
Just classic. It's just classic. I wasn't sure whether to go for a 1 or a 2. The 1 is more classically stylish. The 2, although it was a better car, with the big rubber bumpers and things, it just didn't. It was a little bit chunkier, a little bit more cumbersome, I thought.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think I'd side with you on that one.
Yeah, if I was buying one to drive, I'd absolutely go for a 2. It's a much better car. Um,
Mm.
But to have in a museum and look at, you'd want the original. I would suggest.
Yep, I'll go with that. Yep, nice choice.
Moving on. A Citroen DS.
But say no more, really.
If there's ever a car that belongs in the style section, that could even be put up front with the DeLorean.
Yep.
It's got it all, hasn't it? Really,
It's just it's perfection in terms of design.
it is the goddess, as they called it. Yeah,
just spot on.
I'd probably go for a later one that had the bigger swiveling headlights. The earlier one with the fixed headlights, I didn't quite. How I thought the later one was for once the revisions were an improvement.
Yeah. I'd go along with that.
Probably go with a later one, but yeah, you can't not have one. I don't think.
No, I think you're right there. No, that's an excellent choice.
So staying in Europe,
Mm.
I'm going for a Ferrari. Now, there could be Ferraris in pretty much every section I've mentioned, or maybe not. My dad had one, but in the other 3 sections, you could have a Ferrari. I wanted a Ferrari in the style section, but choosing which one was quite tricky.
I'm very interested about this.
Yeah, there's a lot to choose from there, and it really comes down to personal taste, I think. And again, a reminder that this is not about which would be the best to own or which would be the best to drive. This is about style, so it's very much about how it looks. And the one I settled on was the 365 GTB4 Daytona.
Yeah, that's a fair place to settle. I was worried we were going to have an argument then, but I think it's a solid choice.
I'm not sure either of us is into Ferraris enough for it to spark an argument.
Well, should I remind you of the 250 short wheelbase?
Oh, the one that looks like a dog parking its breakfast. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we're going to kick off, you see.
That's come up with, but I didn't choose that because I don't like it. Now, you see, you've brought it up again. It's one of the few areas where we disagree.
It's okay. This is your room.
This is my part of the museum. If you want one in your side, you have at it.
Yeah. I can't kick off. That's fine. No, I won't.
This is my bit. Yes.
No, you're all right. You're all right. We won't sort of go spur off onto a tangent of me getting arsey again. It's absolutely fine.
Let's not do that. If you want one in your side, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But I'm having the Daytona on my bit.
Okay.
Now I'm coming back to Britain for my next couple of choices. These are in no particular order, as you have no doubt gathered. It's all very eclectic, like the whole place will be, I suspect.
Yes.
And I am having a Mini Cooper, an original Mini Cooper.
Lovely.
What some would term a proper Mini Cooper.
Yeah. No, that's. I'd have been upset if we didn't have a Mini in there somewhere.
Yeah, it would be wrong, wouldn't it? It would be wrong. You've got to have one. Yeah. It wouldn't be a rally one. I wouldn't go for it all kind of done, just stock standard as you'd have bought it.
Maybe some Paddy Hopkirk.
No. Maybe in your motorsport section, but not that you've said you've got a motorsport section yet. I'm just guessing.
I wouldn't like to confirm or deny.
No, not at this early stage. But I'm thinking probably in red, bonnet stripes, Union Jack on the roof. Full spec.
Yeah. Just tick all of the boxes. Yeah,
I think so.
Good.
That certainly wouldn't be difficult to get.
No.
Now, again, staying in Britain for this one, a bit more unusual, but I think it does belong. A Morgan +8.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just there, isn't it?
They're still head turners.
They are. You see one, and you do still look. Yeah, they're very special still.
Mm.
And as long as we keep, the chassis well oiled, I think we'd be fine with that.
Oh yes, I like that.
Yes, I've never, uh, I've never been in a Morgan. I've never driven a Morgan. I've never had anything to do with Morgans, but they are. They are incredibly British. What is it James May said? That it's a car they forgot to stop making in the 1940s.
Yeah, he's not far off, but I mean,
No.
it doesn't hurt its cause, does it?
I don't think so. And by all accounts, they're working on an electric one. Well, they're going to have to, aren't they? Otherwise, they're going to have trouble selling cars.
Yeah. The business model might disappear over time. There,
I think it might. Yes, so that's going to be very interesting. But anyway, so we have a Morgan because I think it's right.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. So
now I've got 4 left for this section.
Mm-hmm.
2 more British, and 2 not.
Okay.
So let's go. I'm going to come back to the British ones at the end because they're both quite special. So next choice, and I think it really is style over, well, certainly style over sales success. The Renault Aventime.
Yes, definitely style over sales.
Yes.
They did not sell.
No, it was a disaster. It killed Matra.
Yeah, but it's again much like the i8. It is a striking car.
The striking car. It's certainly very stylish. It's certainly very unusual. Yeah, I think it belongs.
Yeah,
I think it belongs.
That's definitely got its place in design now, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what this section is about, design and style. I could have called it design, but I went with style. But yeah, I mean it's quite interesting in its way. It's got some quite clever doors, and but it was not a successful vehicle.
No, it was built for a market that didn't exist. So
yes, it was really, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, but no, it's a good choice nonetheless. I'd be happy to have that in our museum.
Good. Now we've got three proper classics coming up here.
Right.
And the next is well, some people may not know it actually. The Volvo P1800.
Well, that's a classic. Are you going for traditional coupe?
Yes,
yeah,
I am.
Okay.
Yes, right. I am. Yes, very, very special car. Very unusual. A lot of people, I think, don't know about it. I think it was quite an unusual car for Volvo.
Yeah, they've not really gone that way since. I mean, we've had the odd coupe here and there, but never to that extent.
No, and it was very kind of low and curvy, which Volvos tend not to be.
It was a wonderful piece of design.
Yes, absolutely. Famously driven by Roger Moore in The Saint.
Oh yes.
And lovely.
No, it is a gorgeous thing, isn't it?
It is. It just is.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No complaints there.
Now, 2 left, both British for this section. And the next one I'm choosing is a Rover P6.
Okay, so you're going P6, not P5.
That was a real battle because I love the P5. Really love the P5. The P5B Saloon particularly. But if it comes to out and out style, I think for me the P6 just edges it. I would probably to drive, I would probably buy a P5.
Mm.
I think for this purpose, I would go with a 6.
Just for a bit of looking at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to kick off either way, really. I'm happy to have one or the other or both.
I was tempted to put a P5 into my iconic section, P5B.
Yeah.
But yeah, for style, the P6. And again, it was, as you were saying about the Volvo, they never really did anything else quite like it.
No, not even come close.
No. They did some other nice stuff that we'll come on to, but the P6 really kind of exists in its own bubble. It's incredibly 1960s. I think it just screams the 1960s when you look at it.
Mm.
And
No.
yeah, it's very special.
Okay, no, that's fine.
So, but yeah, it was a tough call, that. And as I say, to actually own and drive, I would probably choose a P5, but for this purpose, it's the 6.
Yeah, a 6.
Yeah.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
no, I follow your logic. I'm happy with that.
Last one for this section, and I hope the floor is stable because there's some heavy old stuff in this section.
Oh God.
I'm going to choose a Jaguar XJS, but the question will be which one, because
Yeah, I'm very interested.
they made it for so long that there were so many different sorts. But for me, I'm going really, really early. I'm going for a Series 1 big rubber bumper edition with that mad instrument, the mad instrument clusters with all the sort of horizontal moving dials and all that.
Yeah.
The little, not dials. They weren't dials, were they? There was this sort of, what do they call them?
I know what you mean. It kind of had
Yes.
needles, didn't it? Rather than
That's right. That rolled up and down.
Yeah.
Very unusual. Yeah. For me, the original XJS and it would need to be on the Kent alloys.
Yes, definitely.
And preferably, I would say either white or gold.
Funny you say that. I was going to go with gold if you were undecided on color.
I think the gold.
Mm.
It's
full 70s at that point, isn't it?
It's full 70s at that point. And it was the car that sort of, after the E-Type, very much smacked everybody between the eyes. And what
the bloody hell is that?
Yes, exactly. But it wasn't meant as a replacement for the E-Type. It was meant to be its own thing. It was meant to be a GT. It was meant to be a long distance cruiser. It wasn't meant to be a sports car.
Well, that's right. It wasn't an XK, was it?
No, not exactly. And it wasn't supposed to be. It wasn't a replacement for the E-Type. They stopped making the E-Type and then started making the XJS, but it was a different thing.
Yeah.
And I think it was quite misunderstood because of that. But I mean, there are, there's the later facelift ones, the celebration models, but for me, right back to the 1975 Series 1. You could find in gold, if you could find one of those. Oh,
happy little boy.
Oh, I'd enjoy that. You'd catch me sitting in that of a morning making brum brum noises before all the visitors came in. Yes.
That's your happy place. So I'm very pleased that a Jag popped into your list on that one. I was getting worried there.
There's more to come.
I would have thought so, but
yes,
I thought there's got to be one in the style room.
Yes, of course there does. And for me, the original XJS, not an E-Type. It's too obvious, and I'm weird, controversial.
Oh gosh,
I actually don't think the E-Type is that good looking.
Hell, what are you saying things like that for, aren't you?
I can qualify it. I think
good luck.
I think the windscreen is too upright. I think the windows are the cabin is too tall, and I think the wheels are too far inboard, and I think it spoils it. The convertible is better.
Yeah.
The convertible is, but I'm talking about the coupe. The convertible is better. The racing ones that they did, the continuation ones that they did a few years ago, where they brought the wheels a little bit further outboard and flared the wheel arches and lowered it slightly, looked way better.
Yeah. Okay.
It's controversial, I know, but I'm not afraid to say it. I don't think the E-Type coupe was a particularly good-looking car.
If I were going to pick one, it would never be a coupe. And if I were going to have one at all, assuming someone severely topped up my bank account,
yes,
it would be a Series 1 convertible, because anything after Series 1, they just kept spoiling it ever so slightly more each time.
Yes, and I think we both agree on the Series 3 styling particularly.
It's a bit, just a bit crap.
It really did go wrong, didn't it? It is a bit crap. It was designed it was for the American market. Yeah.
Yes, well done.
Don't need to say any more, really, do we?
No.
But yes, I agree with you. The Series 1 convertible was by far the best of the bunch. I still think the wheels are too far inboard. But you didn't have the high high roof line and the...
No.
It's just a little bit ungainly for me on the coupe. And in fact, Sir William Lyons himself didn't like it.
Okay.
He didn't like the rear end particularly. He hated that side hinged tailgate, and he didn't think it would sell. He was against making it. He didn't like it at all.
Okay. I mean, I don't have hatred for it, but if I were in the market, I'd just pick a convertible.
Yeah.
It's one of those convertibles where you perhaps wouldn't look like a complete tit either. I think there's enough appreciation of an E-Type where you wouldn't.
I think it would be almost expected that it would be driven by someone perhaps a little bit older.
Discerning chap.
Yes, exactly. Yes. A chap the chaps can get on with. Yes, absolutely. A jolly good bloke.
That's it. Oh, yes.
But I haven't chosen an E-Type. I think it's too obvious, and for me, I just think the XJS is a sleeker design.
Okay. No,
won't be everybody's choice. I grant you that may be controversial, but that's how I feel.
No, I think you might get a reaction out of that one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
This is about personal choice after all. So this museum was, we're going to stock it with the cars that we love, or that we would like to see in a museum. And I'd rather stand and gawp at an XJS than an E-Type. Sorry, I just would.
No, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Well, I can work with that.
If someone wants to buy us an E-Type each, I'll drive it and I'll be very happy with it.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Anyone want to do that? That's absolutely fine.
I would be very happy to review at length and have this debate out and sort it once and for all. But until such time as that happens, I'm going with the XJS, which is a damn sight cheaper to buy as well.
Just a bit.
Yes.
Let's see how. Okay, right. I'm going to bring us on to a section of mine.
It's a good idea.
I feel this section. I want to do this first, partly because I want to get it out of the way for your sake.
Oh no!
But also there are a few very key items in there.
Okay.
That are dear to my heart. And it's a section that's really going to make you go, oh, that one.
That the word you can't say. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a two-wheeled section.
Oh.
You see? I knew that'd be the reaction.
Mm.
I don't need a lot of space. I just think it's worth mentioning the vehicles on my list.
Because I suppose it's fair enough to have it there, but it's a section I shall be rushing through on the way to somewhere else.
Well, what a thing to say. Okay, right. Okay, I won't. I won't dwell on all of the exhibits. I'm
I
just.
won't know what any of them are anyway. You can read out all the names. I won't have a clue.
No, it's fine. I will read them out, and I will give you a brief explanation of each.
Okay.
I won't. I won't dwell, and I won't. I won't lose myself in them.
I think that'd be best. Yeah.
Okay, so the first one on the list is a Vincent Black Shadow.
Actually, I do know what that is, and I know why it's special.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just for the listener, then that's basically the reason that's in there is that was recognised in the two-wheeled world as the first superbike.
Yes, it was. That was. Yeah. I begrudgingly accept that has a place in the museum. That was very special. Yeah.
It's quite an impressive thing. That was blimey.
The name alone should give it a
Oh,
place in the museum.
It's a very, very cool name.
Yes.
And it was a 998cc, 50-degree V-twin engine, which gave you a speed of 125 miles an hour. And you think, that's quite impressive because it was produced in 1948.
Yeah.
You think,
That's
terrifying, isn't it?
that is terrifying. Yeah, that really is. There can't have been much on the road with any number of wheels that could do that then.
Not in late 40s. No. If you stretch yourself into 50s, you get to Jag territory.
I was going to say the XK120,
Yeah.
which I think was the fastest car in the world at the time.
That's right.
But that was a little bit later.
That's right. So yeah, that was a lot of speed very early on.
Yeah, it really on a like you say, on a bike with probably an open-fronted helmet.
Yes.
Yes. So if you do hit something, I mean, your face is probably coming off.
Yeah, that's it. You'll know about it, but only very briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that'd be fine. And when they eventually find all your bits, they'll collect them back together.
Yeah, they'll gather it together in some sort of pile and send it off to your significant other. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Unbelievable. Yes, I concede. That's a good choice. Yeah.
Okay. At the complete other end of the scale, this also might be a bike that you may be familiar with, actually. It's a Yamaha FS1E.
Isn't that one of those synthesizers, isn't it, that the Pet Shop Boys used?
Yeah,
it's got all the buttons on the top that you can do different effects and things with.
Just one of those. Yeah.
Either that or it's a fax machine. I'm not sure.
Ah, dear. What a waste.
Yeah. And expect more of that.
Yeah. Amusingly, because it was called an FS1E, if you said it quickly, it earned the nickname Fizzy.
Oh, fair enough.
And it was from the 70s, and it was every teenage boy's dream transport.
No, it wasn't.
It was a sports moped, basically. 50cc, single cylinder. Incredibly popular for a very short period of time.
Okay.
Just quite an iconic little thing. And they are little as well. And they've still got this weird cult following now. And you see them with fully grown blokes on them. You think that looks ridiculous, but it's
center of gravity all wrong.
Yeah, because of its iconic nature, I thought that's got to be on the list.
Yeah, again, I'll give you that. That's fair enough. Anything that you can equate to a moped, I'll have to give you. Yeah.
And the next one, by Curious Fate, is links quite nicely to one of your rooms, actually, or sections. My dad had one of those.
Ah, okay.
And that's a Ducati 750 GT. It was my dad's pride and joy when he was a younger chap, long before I appeared. Quite an exotic bike in its day, and he used to ride it daily. It was his mode of transport.
Okay, well, fair enough.
he doted over it, and it was just such a desirable thing at the time. And I know that he just yearns to have one again. If I had the wherewithal, I'd go and buy him one.
Very good.
But it's also quite important in Ducati history as well, because it was the first production Ducati to have a 90-degree V-twin engine, which doesn't sound particularly significant. But from then on, that basically became their signature engine design, still to this day.
Okay.
So it's quite a poignant one. It's Italian as well, so it looks very cool.
The only thing wrong with that is that you're not pronouncing it properly.
No, I am pronouncing it correctly. I'm not from the colonies.
No, it should be Ducati.
Oh no, I thought you. Oh, that's all right. No, northern people, that's fine. Yeah, I thought you were on about the Americans and their insistence on calling them Ducatis.
Oh no. I was thinking of Steve Berry on old Top Gear.
Oh yeah. He loved that.
He did.
Yes. Oh God, I'd forgotten about him.
He
does crop up from time to time. Actually,
he's still around. Yeah, absolutely.
I know. He was doing a radio show at some point, wasn't he?
His weird leather outfit. Yeah.
A leather outfit. I think it was fairly essential.
Well, only if you're going on a bike.
Right. Okay. Actually, then go on. Then, if we're tying in with a bit of northernness and motorcycles, my next one, you segued into that beautifully without even knowing it.
Oh, skills.
Was it's a racing bike, this one, and that's Neil Hodgson's 2000 British Superbike Championship winning Ducati 996. And he's quite a northern chap anyway, because he's from Burnley.
So it's hard to get more than one northern than that. Yeah.
So that's your tie in there.
Yeah, that's hardcore. Yeah. Very good.
So yeah, I thought you'd like that. It was not only
Oh no, that was more Liverpool. Sorry, I've gone off at a tangent.
Oh God,
I was going to spend the rest of the evening mispronouncing Ducati.
Oh God, but we're all over the country here.
We are.
Oh yes, but gorgeous bike. Very important year in terms of motorcycle racing in Britain. It was a fierce battle, and with him and Chris Walker, fantastic. And also, Hodgson raced that bike as a wild card in the British rounds of the World Superbike and won that as well. So that deserves its place.
Impressive, fair enough.
Yeah, so that goes in there.
Okay.
We're going to continue on, and I think actually the remaining ones are all along the racing theme. No motorcycle exhibit would be complete without Joey Dunlop's 2000 Isle of Man winning Honda VTR SP1.
No idea.
Joey Dunlop rocked up on this quite impressive bike at the ripe old age of 48.
Okay.
And won.
Right.
He looked dishevelled, but he won.
Wow.
It goes in for that reason only.
Fair enough. Yeah.
He'd been away for a while, and he thought, "Oh no, I'll go back and do it." And off he went. Absolutely nailed it. Made everyone look a bit silly in that Formula One race that year.
Very good.
Yes.
Well, as you say, for that reason alone, it should go in.
That's right. I'll keep reeling them off so you don't get bored.
Please do. No idea.
Okay, you'll recognise the name of this person. Valentino Rossi.
Oh, we've touched on him before, not like that.
Yeah, no, I don't think you'd appreciate it. No. He was the last rider to win in the two-stroke era of Premier Class racing.
Okay.
And he didn't just win it by a whisker, he trounced them. 11 wins in that particular season, on his Honda NSR 500. And I think for that reason alone, I mean, those bikes were evil.
Right.
They're just demonic little things. They're so much power, but in a very, very specific part of the rev range that was ready to kill you. They
Okay.
were.
Yeah. I'm just looking at some pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, that weird two-stroke thing of just going, right, well, you can have power here. That's your lot.
It's all there. Yes.
It's all there, and you're only controlling that with your wrist. And if you get it wrong, I'm going to fire you into space. So that's he gets kudos for that.
Yeah.
We'll continue on his theme. He continued with Honda for the following 2 years as they moved into the 4-stroke era. And everyone said, oh, he's only winning because it's the bike.
Yeah.
So in 2004, he said, nah, bollocks to that. I'm going to move to Yamaha, which was a turd.
Oh.
So he moved to Yamaha, and in 2004, he won the championship on that instead.
Right. Thus proving it very much was not the bike.
Yes. So for that reason, we have his 2004 championship winning Yamaha YZR M1 as well.
Okay. Very good. I like you've put thought into there's a nice story behind each one. So yeah, I won't have to push them out of a window while you're not looking. That's good. No.
And there we go. You're happy. It's the final one. And it's the one that's most relevant to our little island. And it's Barry Sheen's bike.
Okay.
He's the last British person to win the top class of motorcycle racing championship. We haven't had one since. We had a few win races, but not championships. So we've been. So he earns his place, and it's his 1976 Suzuki RG500.
Okay.
Glorious looking thing. 500cc, 4-cylinder, 2-stroke, just brilliant. And he was cool as well.
Well, he had a mullet, didn't he? So obviously.
Well, that's it. He was. He was mates with James Hunt. They were drinking champagne, smoking Marlboros, and advertising Brute. Job done.
It's all there, isn't it?
You don't get that these days.
No, you don't, I'm afraid. No. No. Very good.
And he was, you got to think he was quite he was almost rock star status.
Yes.
He was that sort of thing of going, if you don't like bikes, you know who Barry Sheen is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And there we go. That's my
good. You've come up with good reasons for those. There's a nice story behind each one.
Okay. Yeah, you'll allow me that section.
I'll allow you that section.
You might not run through it as fast as you thought you might.
No, if there's a fire, I'm not saving stuff from that area. But yeah, I'll let you have that. Yeah.
You might stop and have a look.
What? Some of it burn?
No. When it's not on fire, you might just pop in and go. Oh, no, you might have a point. I'm not saying you want to ride one, but you might stop and have a look.
I might stop and have a look and make a note of the ones that are leaking on the nice wood floor. And yeah,
that's right. They're only small capacities compared to cars, so they won't leak.
We're going to have that problem in every room. So
yeah, you bring in Jaguars and Rovers, and you're going to need a trough under those.
Oh, I'm forever wheeling that P6 back and forth, mopping up.
Oh dear,
that's a very valid point.
Oh yes. Right, go on then. Lead us into your next section. I promise you, everything from here on in, from my end, will be 4 wheels.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm slightly disappointed you didn't have anything with a sidecar on it, but still, we'll come on to that. So my next section was called Muscle.
Ah, yes.
So we got some big beefy chaps in here.
Lovely.
From around the world. I'm starting with some American muscle.
Seems appropriate.
We've got some proper 70s American muscle here to begin with. And right up front, I'm going to have a Pontiac Firebird Trans Am.
Well, for various reasons, I assume.
For various reasons.
Mhm.
One, it's called Trans Am, and that is one of the coolest names. Americans name muscle cars very well. They've had some fantastic names. If you think about it, Trans Am, Challenger, Charger, Corvette, Corvair. It's so much of it. So much of it. Really good
Yeah, very
names.
cool.
Really good names. Thunderbird, Firebird. Just wonderful names. Anyway,
Evocative.
evocative indeed. You know what you're dealing with a name like that. So I'm having the Firebird Trans Am, the original one, Burt Reynolds and the Bandit.
Well, yeah, that was my next point.
Yeah, the big gold chicken on the bonnet, and yeah,
Where you go.
yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
I just think it's the incredibly elaborate alloy wheels, the gold pinstriping all the way down it, in black. The T-tops popped out. Oh, just yeah,
Yep, can't knock it.
yeah, that's going there. And right next to it, I'm going for a Dodge Challenger.
Okay.
Not the new one, original Dodge Challenger, preferably an RT, which was their sort of hot versions, which I think stood for Road and Track, if I'm not very much mistaken.
Sounds right.
They did a Challenger RT and a Charger RT, but I'm choosing the Challenger Vanishing Point spec in white.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
Nice. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
proper American muscle.
Yep, not a problem with that.
Now, the next one, well, it's a Ford Mustang.
Right, okay. Now I'm listening. Which one?
Yeah, exactly? Which one? Now, this is tricky
Yeah.
because there are many to choose from.
Yeah, I've got opinions at the ready here just in
Yeah.
case.
Yes, I thought you would. Again, this isn't necessarily to drive and own, but for me, I'm going to go with a Mach 1.
Okay. Okay.
Because
I'll allow it.
you'll allow it.
Yeah.
Because diamonds are forever, we don't need to tell that story again. We've covered it in great detail before. And because Gone in 60 Seconds.
Original.
The original Gone in 60, which is an awful, awful, awful movie. But but the Mustang in it is better.
Oh, by a country mile.
Yes, exactly.
The plastic tat.
The one in the
Eleanor.
the new one. Oh, newer. I mean, it's not new, was it? It's a 90s film, but the Nicolas Cage one, the GT500, is just awful. It's got
Dog's
the
dinner.
worst body kit.
Oh, fiberglass crap.
It's just terrible.
Yeah, you can keep
that one's out. That one's not going in at all. But the Mach 1, for me, I'm not saying it was the best of the Mustangs. For me, it's the one. It's just the one I like.
That's fine. That's the one you want. We'll accept that.
Yeah.
Where we go next?
We've got one last American muscle car. Much newer, much more modern, but it wouldn't be right to not have a Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different take, but I understand why it's in there.
Yeah. Not necessarily in police livery. I would probably have it in black on the steel
stealth.
wheels, no lights, at least no exterior lights. Probably say a detective's car rather than rather than a cruiser. But yeah, in black, steel wheels, black interior, really kind of low key, stealthy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
that's good.
really, really, really like those. I really like the Crown Vic.
Yeah.
I would have a Crown Vic. I would,
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
yeah, that really does it for me. And the Police Interceptor models, which it was always rumored they had tuned engine and beefed up suspension and things like that. I don't opinions divided on whether that's actually true. Whether they did get, but I mean, it was a model built specifically for law enforcement by Ford, but how different it was from the civilian one, I don't know. Opinion is divided on that as to how different it really was. Some say it had the smaller steel wheels and the fatter tires, so it could ride up on curbs without bursting the tires and things like that.
Right.
And heavier duty suspension, so that it could do a little light off-roading if needs be. Slightly raised up, slightly higher ground clearance than the ordinary one. But I think it varied enormously depending on who was having it. I think certain applications they did tweak them, and in other times they didn't. But yeah, I'd love one of those.
Okay.
And you can find them for 6-7 grand now.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, they're not too pricey. But
Yeah.
yes, I'd definitely have a Police Interceptor in my muscle section.
Okay. Good stuff.
Now,
Where we?
moving back more towards Urup,
Mm.
I'm popping in something next, which I think we've established is very close to my heart, but I think belongs firmly in this section, the Jaguar S-Type R.
Okay. Yep. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That definitely falls into the muscle territory, doesn't it?
proper British with 400 brake horsepower. Before you even look at tuning or tweaking, out of a 4.2 litre supercharged V8, it makes a lovely noise. That's a proper muscle car.
Yep.
And it looks like it too, with the bigger wheels, the lowered suspension. It just looks like it's up to no good. You get one
Yeah.
of those in dark grey with a black interior. Ooh,
Properly sinister.
yeah, I think it is. So yeah, an S-Type R.
Like that.
Next choice is you're probably not a car that I would have, but it belongs in this section because I think it is quite special. A Vauxhall Monaro or a Holden Monaro if you're from down under.
Yeah, I do like those a lot, actually.
Yeah, they are rather good. You never see one.
No, quite rare, actually. I mean,
Yes,
you
they
saw
are.
they were reasonably popular for a while, but I suppose
They've
wrapped
all
around the
disappeared.
trees.
Yeah, I would guess. Yeah, I
Mm.
expect a lot of them went the wrong side of a hedge
Mm.
because they were very powerful. But I think a Monaro, probably in a slightly leery color, probably red or that bronze that they did.
Yeah, seems appropriate, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. So I think one of those belongs. Now, if we're talking eye swiveling lunacy, I think we should pop a TVR in here.
Yes, they are the epitome of muscle, aren't they? They big
Yeah,
engine up front and not a lot behind it.
no, that's right. Cabin like a fiberglass canoe factory, I believe was the phrase.
Yeah, I mean, it depends which one, really, doesn't it? That's the only
It does
clincher.
depend which one. I'm gonna go with one of the more bonkers ones because I think it's appropriate with a TVR. I'm going to go with a Cigaris.
Yeah, that's fairly bonkers, isn't it?
Pretty crazy.
It's a
Yeah,
lunatic mobile, in fact.
it is. Yes, it is. It
Yeah,
is.
yeah, but it is muscle, but it is cool as well.
Yeah,
it does it all in
yeah. I think
one
so.
terrifying package.
It is. Yes, that quite.
Mm.
Because they used to say TVR didn't do any testing. They just put the car on sale and then found out how good or bad it was by their owners writing to them to complain how dead they were.
Oh, that was it. Yes. Gotta love a Mr. Clarkson.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they were a bit. Yeah, you had to have your wits about you if you were taking that out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have been in a TVR, not a cigarist. I've been in a Chimera many moons ago. In fact, I think we mentioned it on the podcast. But
Yes, we did.
that was quite tame compared with this. The cigarist was, yeah. And again, if we have it in the museum, there's no chance of you taking it for a drive. So
No, this is true.
it can just sit there looking bonkers in the corner.
Yeah, that's it. It's not going to break down, and it's not going to kill you, so it's fine.
So it's fine. There we are, safely nestled away in there. Now I've got two left here, which I think you're going to approve of immensely.
Yeah, okay.
Next one is a Nissan Skyline.
Oh, I do approve. That's a very different kind of muscle.
Again, it's a very, and I've tried to come up with some different types of muscle. American, British, bonkers. But the Skyline, now, of course, the question is which one?
Yeah, it is your choice.
You gave us your favorite one recently, I believe. I'm choosing the R32.
Perfect choice, really.
I'm not
going to get grumpy about any of them.
No, again, it's one of those you're not going to be stroppy if you're given any of them. Yeah, I think it's purely visually it works for me.
It's a do everything car as well. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, it is. It's actually quite. You could even say it's a practical car.
Yeah, it's really not far off, is it?
No, it's got a proper boot. It's got a proper back seat. You could do your shopping in that.
Yeah, I know people who have. So
there you go.
Yeah, that was their only vehicle. So yeah, fair play.
You could do that with that. You could. Yeah, you could daily that. It's going to be reliable enough too.
Well, yeah, Japanese reliability. Away you go.
Exactly. So there we are. So there's that. So I've got one more.
Oh,
I've got one
yeah.
more in this section. We're off to Germany.
Ah, okay.
And yeah, you're not going to object to this. I have chosen a 635 CSI BMW.
Right. Okay. That's I got time for that.
Shark nose styling.
Yeah.
Proper muscly looks to it. Yeah, I did a 6 liter. What was it in that? Straight six?
Must have been. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, coupe, never a saloon. I mean, or any of the shark nose Beamers work, but in terms of the muscle section, I think the 635.
That's interesting.
They're just great.
They are. I mean, they're brilliant looking things. They're very iconic. When you said Germany, I thought you were going to go completely off piste in terms of muscle car, and probably one that's lesser known. But I thought you were going to go Weissman.
Interesting. No, yeah, could do though. That could fit in this section by far. Definitely, yeah.
Absolute lunatic car that as well.
It's a good, yeah, it is, isn't it? That would sit nicely next to the TVR.
Particularly if you went for I think it was possibly the last one they did, the MF5, which had the BMW V10 in it.
Right. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. No, that could work. Yeah. I mean, the other possibility was a BMW 850. But
that's GT. That's not muscle, is it?
That's not really muscle. No, exactly.
Big engine, but it's smooth.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, not really the same thing at all. But yeah, Weissman would fit nicely there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying this is an exhaustive list. There's obviously everyone will have an opinion as to what we could have chosen. Yeah, that's my muscly room.
Very good. Yeah, I'd like to wander around that one.
Yeah, I think we could all find something to have a poke around with there. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
So where are you taking us next then?
I'm going to take you somewhere entirely not unexpected at all.
Are we going all sporty again?
No.
Okay.
No, we're going to the 911 room.
Of course we are.
And I've chosen this very specifically.
Well, if you're naming the room after one type of car, yes.
Yes. But I'm not going mad. What I would like is the 911 in its purest, simplest form. So I have picked a car from each generation, but I'm specifically saying they're going to be all entry level.
Okay, so base spec of each model.
Essentially, yes, that's it. Because at the upper end, where you get all of the different crazy variants that build and build and build over the decades, I just think it confuses them out too much. I think let's keep it simple. Let's watch the evolution of the design.
Talking about 911s is very confusing.
So this will keep it fairly simple.
Stop saying numbers and letters.
So that's good. I mean, we're not going to be including letters because we're going well, maybe one, but we're going to keep it fairly simple.
Okay.
Because we've got, and I'm going to kill myself if I've missed any, but I think what are we thinking?
It'll be quite an extreme reaction.
Oh yeah, it is extreme. But after all the build-up on the podcast, I think we're going to be looking at 8 variants of 911.
Okay, so you're filling a room just with 911s.
Yep, I don't necessarily have to have
I
a
should
room.
Should have seen that coming, shouldn't I? Really?
I envisage an arc of 911s. How's about that?
What? As in, we can set it afloat down the river?
No. More the shape.
In 2x2.
More the shape rather than Noah.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were designing a whole new wing for the building.
No. We're not.
When I said it was dockside.
No, we don't have an aquatic feature. We're all right. Oh dear.
Adam's special underwater 911 section.
If it's underwater, we've buggered it somewhere along the line.
Yes, gone wrong. Yeah.
No, so we're going to have an original. So basically, you could class an original anywhere from 63 to 73 ish.
Okay.
But probably keep it in its purest form, get it as early on as possible. It would be quite nice to kind of maintain a color throughout as well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But if you tried to maintain a color throughout, you'd probably have to go something from the slightly more dull range of the palette. So you'd probably end up with a silver, something like that.
You're going to end up respraying some of them, though, aren't you? That's the trouble.
I
do like the idea of original base spec. That speaks to me. I do approve of that in any car, actually.
I just think it'll show the design language better.
Yes.
So if we move on from the original, the next one would be a G series, which lasted for quite a while. There are all the different variants, but that takes us from 73 pretty much all the way up to 89, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's all encompassing. That's got various crazy things all the way along the lines. But just like I said, keep it simple. We're going to go base spec and just nice, simple lines. We're not going for the flared arches or the wide track or the whale tails. It's just
just the pure shape. Yeah,
pure shape. And then we, after the G series, we move into the sort of more regimented number system that we're familiar with. Because the next one would be the 964. Assuming we can get one in there that hasn't been resto modded.
Yes, I was going to say it's the darling of the workshop at the moment, isn't it? Everybody's slicing one to pieces to do something to it. Yeah.
So that get a nice early one of those in there. And that had, I'm thinking, if we got up to 89 with the G series, so we're going 89 to 94.
Yeah.
So that's a It's a good one. Probably my favourite of the air-cooled era.
Yeah, I think it is for a lot of people.
Mm.
Yeah, it's why it's becoming the platform for, as you say, so many different modding projects.
Yes.
Um,
As we move on from the 964, we're going to then have the 993,
okay, yeah,
which was the last of the air-cooled. 94 to
yes,
98. It styling wise, it had that sort of slightly more raked look to the headlights.
yes,
Um,
slightly less prominent.
yeah,
Yeah,
which I don't know. I mean, people do love them, but I still yearn back to the 964, the slightly more classic
yeah, I
style.
think I do. I think I do. Yeah, it's slightly more rounded, isn't it, than the
Mm.
993?
But it would, yeah, that's personal preference, really. It's
It
all
is,
good. It's all
yeah.
good. Um,
So
uh,
one of those, yes.
yeah. Next, we're into the water cooled. It's the 996. This is the one that everyone goes, oh dear, I don't know. The fried
Yes,
egg lights
the
is
fried
the
egg headlights. Yes,
yeah.
indeed. Yeah, that was an interesting choice, wasn't it? But I suspect those are going to, because they're different to all the others, they're going to start, people are going to latch on to that fact. I think they
I
could
think
start to go up.
they will. I mean, they're still the cheapest 911 you can buy,
Yes, by far. Yeah.
but they will go up.
They're the way in
Um,
at the moment, aren't they?
yeah, and think the styling challenged people a bit, and you think it was 2001 they got the facelift, so
mm,
there you could notice it quite easily on the headlights because the earlier ones had where it followed the bonnet shut line and the bumper carried on. That was where the divide was between light and indicator. So
right,
from the
yeah.
facelift, the light all became one
All
unit.
became one. Yeah.
Mm.
It was
Um,
quite a common design cue at that time, wasn't it? On all sorts of different cars.
yeah, yeah, it was very of its time. I'll give them that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, moving on to the 997. I have a nice
Hmm.
simple spec Carrera in there.
Headlights back
Um,
to normal.
headlights back to normal. Probably my favourite styling of the water cooled era.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
Um,
Yeah.
it, particularly the earlier ones, pre facelift, so pre 2008, because it it was the rear lights that bothered me on the later ones. Didn't like them as much.
Didn't, yeah, they were a bit different. Yeah.
Why? Yeah, the shape of the lights the light unit themselves didn't particularly change. It was the way that the bulbs and lighting in the unit was arranged, and just didn't do it for me.
Oh,
Um, but then,
first world problems.
it really is. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I don't
There's
like the way they arranged the bulbs.
yeah. It's it's well, I'm being honest.
Yes, absolutely. Personal
Um,
preference.
now we move on to the 991,
Okay.
and again, it caused a bit of a stir. Electric steering.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, everyone was banging on about that, weren't they?
That kicked right off.
They
That did.
ruined the 911. Yes.
Yeah. So that got a bit of hatred, but no, we'll still put a Carrera in, put an early one in from I think 991 was 2011 to 2018,
Oh, you know your porkers, don't you?
and uh, when the facelift came in 2015, there was more anger because the entry level cars were no longer naturally aspirated. They were 3-liter turbocharged engines rather
Heresy.
than what preceded it in the pre-facelift, which were the 3.6 naturally aspirated. So everyone
Yeah.
soon forgot about electric steering and was
Mm,
worried that the entry level 911s had turbos on them.
disgusting.
Oh, and yeah, that's going to upset people.
Apparently.
Of all of the buyers, it's going to be 911 people that you're going to upset the most.
Yeah, they're a bit of a bunch, aren't they?
Yeah, change takes a while to be accepted.
Mm. Yes, I can see change being an issue in the 9/11 group. Yes,
but it ultimately gets there. It just the initial reaction is usually venomous.
oh well, you're gonna have them all going in this room then.
Yep. And then we'll bring it bang up to date. We then on to the 992, which I think in base form is actually just a really good looking car.
Was this the one you got all unnecessary about a little while ago?
That was the GT3 Touring, which styling wise is reasonably base spec.
Yes.
But I just think while it has grown and it is quite a big car, the styling of the 992, I find it more appealing than the 991, but not as appealing as the 997.
Yeah, fair enough.
But that's me. And there you go. Those are your 8 generations in one room,
I
all
like
in
that.
bog standard spec. Just spot on.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I can see. I quite like the base spec aspect of it. I like the being able to see the evolution of it.
Mm.
Yeah, I was tempted to have a Jaguar room and just have one of everything, but they've already done that.
Oh yeah, you can go to that. It's lovely.
Yeah, I know. Yes, okay. I quite like your 9/11 room there. Yeah,
It was always going to happen, wasn't it? When you think
it
about
was really. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, they were going to be everywhere, weren't they? Yeah, we'll have a special floor set aside for you.
it. But I thought, there you go. That's me. I'll get it all out of my system in one go.
You've just done it all in one place there, haven't you?
One
Yeah.
place, and then I won't get too pervy about special editions. You can just see like for like.
If one pops up somewhere else, see, I was gonna put a 9/11 in the muscle room, and then I thought, well, A, I don't know which one to pick, and B, he's gonna put them everywhere, so I didn't bother.
You're right. I've confined them all to one space there.
You have them, yeah. They're
Yeah.
all hidden away behind one door. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. I like that. I like the base spec nature of that. Keeping it simple.
Yep.
Yeah.
No messing.
That's cool.
We'll leave it there for the first part of the Stuff and Waffle Museum of Glorious Things. Join us again next week for the final part to see what exhibits await. Find us on Twitter and Instagram, or email stuffandwaffle@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.